Hi, everybody. I'm Corey. I'm the Dungeon Master for Opportunity Roll. I'm here with everybody else. Say hi.
What's
up?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
All right. So let's go ahead and do introductions, and then we'll do a recap, and then we will hop right into it. Let's go ahead and do introductions. Let's start with Aelo, or Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'll be playing Aelo K, the Grove Tender Druid, or Keeper, actually.
All right. Let's do Max.
Hey everybody, I'm Max, or Rodeo, and I will be playing Kadath, your great old one's cleric.
Lily.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm playing Aria, the Divine Soul Sorcerer.
Alex.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alex, and I am playing Rook, the half-orc paladin. I briefly forgot my own name.
Cool.
Dust.
Hello, I am Dust, and I will be playing Soul, the Trident Tempest Cleric.
And last but not least, Jace.
Hi everyone, I'm Jace, and I will be playing Rishi, the Air Genasi Bard.
All right. So I think, Chris, you said you wanted to recap for us?
It would be my pleasure. So we started this session at the end of the first of High Summer, that's Tolpum, and we got a hint at one of Aelo's goals, with Aelo myself performing a kind of druidic ritual, kind of a passing of the seasons thing, and he determined that there were few, if any at all, druids in the city who still practiced the old ways, as the call was not answered to his dissatisfaction. In the morning, though, some of us who hadn't gotten wasted during the previous night's celebration took a healthy meal from the Sure But Good kitchen, and then those who had tried some of the deeper drinks tested their fate at some cheap fast food stalls in the street. Aria got us all some Timbits, or some donut holes, to the rest of the world. And as a gift for her, and a celebration rather, of her high placement in her performance competition. And then we headed to the address of Twilight's Chosen, the guild that had recruited us. Inside the guild hall, we met manservant Vekram and the 7 members of the guild, including Weltis, who we had shared a drink with the night before. They confirmed our suspicions about the reason for reaching out to us, but still with some hesitancy, we took them up at their offer, and they treated us to lunch at the Elks Tavern, where Rook suggested a game of Truth or Drink. We had not too much to drink, but got to know each other a fair bit, and then we went back to the guild house with our decision. But not before Kadath and Rook mutually questioned the origin of their respective mysterious powers, and Rook receiving a kind of omen, perhaps, in one of the store shop fronts. We learned that the guild had a sad past with one of their members, and also that they had business in Bravul, while we were sent into the Kingdom of Graydon to investigate a string of events that culminated in perhaps arson in a far-off town. We resume our adventures, officially signed to Twilight's Chosen, a few days outside of Nottingham.
So, last we left off, we rolled a 6 out of 12. So, we hit pretty decent days. We found something along the way. We found a little tiny chest. If I remember correctly. Did we ever find out what was in that chest?
It's the mirror.
Mirror. All right, make sure. Brain fart. I know you just recapped. My brain is still running off of coffee.
Also, shout out to my freaking awesome D20 mug that Corey's drinking out of. I love that mug.
However,
Well,
if you
enjoy.
also want to get some merch, some opportunity roll merch, we have some a link to merch somewhere. We got a link tree. Let's see if we can't put that in chat at some point. So with the 6, I think that's going to get you all the way to Nottingham, because that's going to get you your full travel. But it's going to be relatively boring. I mean that in a good way, though, right? Because you're not running into monsters, you're not dealing with bandits or goblins or any of that nuisance that's gonna slow you down, take your time away from the road. You may have passed like 2 or 3 peddlers along the way, nothing major. Things like potatoes, carrots, some vegetables and stuff. Maybe a general goods merchant, carpets, stools, some chairs here and there, furniture kind of stuff. But once you kind of hit Nottingham, there is this different air about the place. It's relaxed, right? The people around here are relaxed and calm. And it's more or less like that olden country. Like as soon as you kind of step over that line, you hit the main road and you see all the buildings and you just kind of slow down a bit because no one here is in a hurry. No one here is rushing to get things done. Everybody's doing things in their own time. And it's just this kind of relaxing day where nothing's expected. And I wouldn't say nothing's gone wrong. I mean, I'm sure there's trouble somewhere, but nobody's freaking out. Let me go ahead and give you a look. Let me let somebody deal with the town here real quick. Let me know when you're done with the map, and I'll switch over.
Oh, go ahead. I was just measuring to see
Seeing how far away we are.
Yeah.
Very zoomed in. There we go.
Yeah.
That's very pretty.
It's just very relaxed, very chill. Yeah. You've got pretty much homes for most of the people. There is but only really one inn here. And it's not vacancy full. I mean, it's wide open. It's called the Sword Sheath. It'd be a play on the situation in town. Besides that, I mean, you guys are free to move about the cabin. Whether you guys want to stop here, whether you guys want to continue. Your travel die will end here, so if you guys want to keep going and passing right through without stopping, we'll need to roll another travel die. But I'll let you figure out what you guys want to do.
How late is it?
We will say it's probably about 4 p.m.
Rook will glance around. Is the rest of the world just this chill?
Depends on where you are. This area is this kingdom tends to be until something happens, and then it's very much not. But there are places that are less chill than this.
Yeah, I'm a city kid. This is weird.
Can we stop here for an hour or two? Go get a drink at the tavern?
I'm not gonna object to that.
Great.
Sure. I mean, if we need to, we can spend the night here rather than sleep on the road for just a couple extra miles.
You know, I would love that if we could do that.
Has anyone else been to Nottingham before? There
Yeah.
is a little game that I think you all might enjoy. But we can save that for after the drinks.
Maybe before. I don't know how it technically. If you're thinking of what you're thinking of.
Can we at least know what the game is before we go further?
Agree.
It's just a slight communal attraction rather than a game. It's a test of faith, a test of courage. The High King's sword rests here.
That sounds interesting.
Okay. Lead the way then.
Maybe after the drinks.
A couple of drinks would be a good way to start that.
They call it liquid courage for a reason.
Exactly. See,
Whichever-
Rook gets it.
Whichever way y'all want to do it, that's fine.
I just need to cross this town off my list of places I've performed.
Well then, the inn is this way. And we
You
will
guys will-
proceed.
Sure.
Yep.
You will you'll head on over. The inn will be pretty much doors wide open. Maybe 2 or 3 kind of people in there. Behind the counter is a half elf, brown hair, kind of green eyes, a little bit on the scrawny side, some like 5 o'clock shadow. He'll just kind of look and nod. Let me go ahead and give you a look at him. Whip.
There it is.
There are quite a number of sheep in this area. Never seen so many
It
sheep.
is a farming town for sure.
Well, sheep tend to live where there are farms. Yes.
Sheep are the
would
best
make sense.
things to pet. If you ever want like a very cuddly pet, sheep are the way to go.
Really?
Yeah, my dad raises sheep. They're very friendly.
I've never pet a sheep actually.
Well, if we
Aelo
do it
will kind of.
time. Sorry.
I'll flag the barkeep to get his attention, and I'll say, "Hail, my friend. I have a group of compatriots who are in need of some drinks."
Yeah. What are you looking
We're-
for? Standard stuff? Or...
We're just passing through. I don't believe we intend on staying the night, but if you have a good meal set up, I think we'll kindly take to that as well.
Yeah. Sure, we got something to kind of munch on. Mead's pretty simple. Silver per mug. You go see what we have at the back as far as food. He'll put up a pitcher and a couple of cups before he heads to the back.
We were spending the night.
I also was under that impression, but truth be told, not really that, whatever the decision is what the decision is.
I guess we can always decide after we go take a look at the sword in the stone.
Yeah, there's always time for decisions like these. It's not like the inn's packed.
Bother me any.
Has the bartender come back with drinks, or is he still out back?
Oh, he put mugs on the counter with a full pitcher. It's kind of like honor system right now. He's not
Okay.
like charging you guys until you drink. So, and I'm pretty sure he's sure that by the time you guys are already even starting on a drink, he's coming back with food. So,
Okay.
Kadath will pour everyone drinks.
Yeah, Rishi will toss a silver kind of like onto the counter. That'll cover me for at least the first round. And Aria, did you
Thanks.
say that you needed to perform in each town?
Yes, that's the goal. Among trying to find a way to record it so that I can sell copies of it and possibly merchandise. I haven't decided yet.
Are you okay with performing to Rishi will look around at the at least very empty bar, if not completely empty?
So there are two people here. One is a human farmer, brown hair, in one of those forgettable faces. Just a general gentleman. He's got like a 5 o'clock shadow, dirt smudged all over his face. He just came in from the fields. And then there is an older gentleman, got a long, scruffy white beard. He's got kind of like really a cape, but like a cape / robe, with a small little like leaf brooch. It's a brown cloak, and he's just chilling, really. Nothing spectacular about him either, just kind of sipping his beer.
Kadath will put down a gold and a silver, which should cover the entire group, with Rishi's 1 silver in for 2 drinks.
I imagine it would be kind of unusual for such an old man to be traveling by himself, and it doesn't look like he's paired with the farmer. So could I make some kind of roll to see if I recognize the leaf emblem? Because leaves are my thing. Would that be a history or religion?
Up to you. Per usual, different information for different roles. Whatever you think will get you the information you want.
Well, he does seem like a man of some sort of cloth. Maybe a druid or a ranger, perhaps. So maybe I'll go with nature, actually.
Natural 25. So these are mass-produced pins. They are definitely druid in nature. It's kind of like one of those things where, like, oh, you stop off at the marketplace. Of course, you need a pin for your jacket, so let's grab one. And it's kind of like those the fish emblem on the back of people's cars. They buy it, they shove them on. Half the people barely know what it means, kind of a situation. But maybe this person is a druid. However, with the face, the emblem, it's hard it's hard to have any recognition of who this person is in general.
I'll down his drink rather quickly and maybe hiccup once and wait for everybody else to get settled. Casual time.
I want to say Rishi like man spread, but definitely make himself comfortable in the booth.
Kadath's got an idea. He's gonna take his drink with him and step outside really quick. How many people can I see walking around?
3 or 4, maybe, if you're lucky. Depends on how long you stand there.
All right, well, as I'm standing there and walking around, sipping my drink, I will reach out to each of them telepathically and tell them... Oh, Sword and Sheath was the name of the tavern, right?
Yep.
Head on into the Sword and Sheath if you want to see a good performance tonight.
Let's run out of time.
Nobody's going to know it's
You'll
him.
creep out 2 people.
He's not looking as he doesn't. He's
is,
just walking by and drinking his mug.
The first one is a maiden, yellow dress, like kind of brown hair pulled back into a bun. And she's going to look around, kind of a little spooked, and then she is going to jog home. Second one's a farmer kind of passing by a cow, and he's going to kind of look around, and for a second he's going to look at the cow. No idea where that came from. See you, and then just kind of think maybe he heard something, but continue on. The third person is going to be like a kid. But I mean, he's just going to kind of scamper off. He's got like this, he's got these old toys, they're giant ring or metal ring, sometimes wood, and a stick. And the more you hit the ring, the more it like spins. And he's just kind of doing that down the road.
Stick and hoop.
All right, the old stick and hoop.
The objective is to keep it going for as long as possible without it falling.
So then,
Kinda
after he's gotten everybody to hear him that he can, he'll just stand outside the front door and make some sparks with his hand as he drinks with his mug in the other. I'll just shoot some sparks for a while.
You're gonna light the mug on fire.
Did you follow me?
No, I'm just
That's
saying
Alex
if you're
saying
lighting.
that.
This
Oh.
is Alex saying this. That there's no Irish here. If you have the mug and then it sparks, you're gonna light the alcohol on fire.
No, you
dude.
won't. Mead isn't alcoholic enough to light on fire. Not even the bourbon that I have is alcoholic enough to light on fire.
Regardless, Rook is probably keeping an eye through the window, having very little idea of what's going on, but just sipping a drink.
Kadath's probably just spooking out the locals.
He does do that.
Wouldn't be the first time.
To be fair, though, if there are any other travelers traveling through for the novelty of the sword, perhaps they're not as unused to hearing things inside their head and might come to see Aria.
That would be nice. It's not like it matters all that much. One performing to one person or performing to 100. Every person that hears is another person to spread my story.
Sure, but I can't imagine having no audience is heartening.
There are 2 people here, and I can tailor what stories I tell to the people who are here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This is good. This is very good.
The
I'll
mead?
pop back another
Yes.
ale.
Does anybody scamper their way in after a while, or no?
After a while, you'll see a few more farmers pop in.
Fabulous.
I'd say probably about 4 or 5 people. People used to working the fields and whatnot. I wouldn't say really any adventurers, at least not today. They have their busy times and then their chill times. So.
How many people are in there in total?
Say 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
So Aria's gonna go over to the bartender again and very quietly put a gold on the table and say, "Can you serve a beer or a mead to everyone in the tavern, to everyone that's not in my party, because we all have drinks already."
He'll nod. Yeah. If you pay him the coin, he'll definitely do it. So he'll take the gold and start making his rounds.
Kadath
Do
will
you
make
mind
his
if
way
I?
back inside.
Sorry. Aria will then continue and say, "Do you mind if I perform as well on your stage?"
No, go ahead. Don't typically have amusement for the evening, so it'll help.
Thank you. Saying she'll wander over to the stage, and this time she'll sit down very calmly, and she'll start playing on her flute and use. I think it's minor illusion that I have. Yeah, and use minor illusion to make little sounds to accompany the images from the flute. And this time, she's telling the story of a farmer who picked up their arms at the sight of a monster attack and ended up saving the village. Can I get advantage for my minor illusion assisting?
Yeah.
Alright.
And I also, as she's telling the story, use thaumaturgy to make, if there's any flames around, flicker as the story, gets more intense and all.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
Kadath will use prestidigitation to help with the melodies of the notes harmonize a little bit.
So that was a 15. Unless I get other bonuses from having more of my wonderful party members helping me.
Let's do a +3.
Yeah.
So then that's an 18 total.
So, lovely performance. It'll go off without a hitch. Nobody's going to heckle. Nobody's going to stop. And in fact, once you're done, there's going to be this moment where all of them will stand. They'll pour out a bit of their glass to the floor, clink their glasses together, and then chug. One person will slam their glass down on the table, or not their glass, but their mug, and he'll just to the High King.
Kadath will join. He'll start slamming his mug.
Same.
Same.
The High King.
Because here's a cool thing, right? The one thing that you probably, I don't know if your character might know this. I don't know if you knew it directly, but that story is a direct interpretation of how stories tell the first High King retrieve the sword.
So, Aria's just telling stories that her father told her that she's written music for. So I don't think that she would have directly known. She just knows that it would be good to tell a story about farmers doing something heroic to a group of farmers. So she picked it purely by accident.
Kadath has
Good choice.
seen the grift. Kadath has seen the grift before, so he's gonna toss 3 silver up on the stage to see if you can get the wagon going of people tossing some coin up there.
These guys are farmers. They don't have much.
They don't need much, just a little bit.
Okay, let's see. You'll get 2 copper
Oh.
and 2 silver. That's about all they can afford.
Every bit
That-
helps.
Aria will stand up and bow and say, I hope that my song did the story justice. Please remember my name. I'm Aria Chanson. Share my talents as far as you're willing.
I mean, you'll hear a hear kind of thing situation.
Yeah.
The old man from before will he's just kind of, he was like to himself. He was kind of perched over, kind of chilling, just relaxing. But he's kind of looked more towards the you've gotten the most out of him from anybody in this entire time. None of the farmers have gotten any look or general acknowledgement, kind of a situation.
Alright. I'm gonna grab my coins and then go sit down with the rest of the party. So that was an interesting reaction that I was not really expecting.
To be honest, I wasn't really expecting such an appropriate story. Not that you're inept at choosing appropriate stories, but it was uncanny.
I am telling stories that were told to me in childhood. I figured that story about a farmer would resonate with a group of farmers.
That's good
I was-
intuition.
I was a little more correct than I thought I would be.
I tried to get more people to come in, but I think they were scared of me.
Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Kadath.
we saw.
It was a good
the
idea.
The old man from before is going to kind of approach a bit. I wonder if I might have a bit of a conversation with you. And he'll be addressing
That depends on if you're asking for a private conversation or a conversation here at the table.
Oh, doesn't matter either. Whatever you're comfortable with. It's about
Deal.
your story.
And she'll smile and say, and wave to a chair close by and say, feel free to pull up a chair then.
He'll kind of, you'll see him feebly because like he's got like that he's so old and frail. He's got like that shaky hand movement. So he like watches his hand. It's going to take him like a good solid minute and a half to get that seat pulled around.
Someone else pulling a grab.
Kadath would get up and help the old man take a seat.
Well, you didn't seem knowledgeable about the story we're telling. I mean, not in a disrespectful manner. I mean that you didn't know how true it rang here. Is that right?
And you would be correct, actually. It's a story that I remember being told as a child.
Ah, I see. It's a very good story.
I always thought it was really poetic. I always liked that tale.
It was the start of a more beautiful tale than you could ever imagine. And he'll kind of reach into his cloak, and he will sit down this book. He'll scoot it over. I am heading north. I'm heading to Brevu, where I hope to have my last days. But I figure somebody who is still telling the tales deserves this. Kind of shakily pat the book.
Aria will pick it up and open it and slowly look through the pages.
Go ahead and give me an investigation.
Okay. There it is.
Oh, that's a 3. It's definitely a diary. Yeah, so you'll probably read like mid book somewhere, and it's like dated nearly 2,000 years old, but in really damn good condition. It's written in the hand of some sort of adventurer.
Aria will close it and hold it to her chest and smile at the old man and say, "Thank you very much. I really appreciate this."
Have yourselves a lovely night.
Safe
He'll
travels.
get up and he'll nod. I'll head out the door.
I'll look at everyone, set the book back down and go, "I think this is a diary. But it's dated like 2,000 years ago."
Corey, hearing
Yes.
that, as the man is walking out the door, can I get some sense of his ancestry?
Yeah, definitely.
Does he look human?
Relatively, yeah, I'd say he's human.
Okay. Cool. Rook will look confused.
If he's passing it on to you, then it's possible somebody passed it on to him. It's going to be a long-running tradition.
That's
Or-
possible.
Could come from his family. It's been passed down.
I'll have to spend some time pulling what I can to make some new stories.
It's dated that old, you might uncover some stories that haven't been heard in a very long time.
It will be very interesting. I'm excited.
Would be interested to read it after you're done.
Don't forget, Soul, you have
Absolutely.
my book to work through as well.
You are correct.
Are we staying the night or are we leaving?
What does it look like outside in terms of daylight?
Sun's definitely going down. You've got that kind of amber sky as things are starting to get later in the evening. I'd say it's probably about 6, maybe 7-ish.
Aelo will down a third mug and say, Rook, you were about to say something?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's getting on in the night, and we did want to go stop by the rock, so maybe we stay the night, just to be safe. Can't get much farther with how little daylight we have anyway.
And try the sword in the stone first thing in the morning?
I was gonna say we can do it now.
Oh, we could.
Kadath will put another gold and 2 silver down for another 2 rounds of drink for the group.
All right.
How much are
Definitely get more.
rooms?
Rooms here, I think they're going for 3 silver per room.
It's not bad.
Do we want to do the same combination? Three rooms, 2 each?
They worked well last time. I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll put a gold down and say 3 rooms, please.
Yeah, coming right up. He'll reach around and grab 3 skeleton keys. Each of them kind of having this like a little wooden sliver out of a small tree that's been etched with a number. I'll hand them over.
Seeing Soul pay for all of the rooms, this is like the worst way to pay someone back. Can Rishi slip 2 silver into Soul's drink? Like literally drop 2 coins into Soul's mead? Like while Soul's up, just like boop, boop.
If you want, yeah.
Okay. Got
They
it.
have not been drunk in at all, so it will splash.
It will
Let's
splash.
hope they don't swallow them.
If you
Gee,
swallow
they-
silver coins, which I assume are that big, then like Soul's got some problems with the perception.
That
I
is
mean,
the
if you don't know
weirdest
they're
way
in
I've.
there.
That is the weirdest way I've ever seen someone spike a drink.
It's hard to refuse. when It's already done and drunk.
Be metal poisoning.
Yeah.
Then I got some bad silver, didn't I? If you get metal poisoning from a silver coin, then someone's got some bad forgeries.
But imagine what else is on those metal coins. They change hands so often.
Probably about as clean as that cup.
I have
I-
questions about the bartender's ability to clean then. Because the cups get cleaned far more often than those coins do.
That you know of. But I just. Is this happening? Is this diegetic?
Sorry. No, sorry.
I was gonna be like this. So, like,
I'm prepping something and it clicked something it shouldn't have.
After hearing
one
Aria,
question.
after hearing Aria talk about the cleanliness of the coins, Kadath will look suspiciously at the coins he placed down, and he will cast prestidigitation over them and clean them.
Oh my gosh, I feel look at that guy. You can clean things just by snap.
Would she have any little bit of stain on her clothing that he could show her with? Just like a...
It's up to her.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking her.
We'll say yeah.
Yeah, he'll point at a little stain, like on your sleeve or something. Cast prestidigitation, clean it right up.
That is amazing. I need to learn that spell.
I'm gonna come back to the table, put the 3 keys down, look at my drink with the silver, and just pass it over to Kadath and just say to the table, I don't need money back for it. It's all okay.
Kadath will slam the mug, take the silver out, put it on the table to cover new drinks.
Are we going to do the sword tonight or tomorrow? What was that decision? I apologize. That was
I think
Not-
we said tonight.
Night.
Might as well.
might as well.
That way if something bad happens, we can leave.
Well, regardless, what are we waiting for?
I
Other
don't
than
have
your drink?
anything.
I hope the blue one doesn't take his shoes off again.
Also, wouldn't be the first time we had to leave town after we paid for rooms.
Rishi's kind of already getting up to stand up and make room for everyone else to slide out of the booth.
Right, on we go.
So, you guys will head out of the inn. As you do, you've probably been drinking, performing a little bit, so it's going to be relatively sundown. There's a little bit of light, but not by much. It's more or less by the moon's glow, right? And as you make your way down the main street, you're going to see a few kind of almost like shifting lights in the main square. And as you round that corner, you're going to see this kind of like large walkway. It's got 4 steps, but they're on like platforms as you continue up. So you get 4 or 5 steps, and then a landing, and then another 4 or 5 steps, and then a landing, and another 4 or 5 steps. And the top of that big landing is going to be this rather large stone. Some might call it slightly a boulder. And in the dead center of it is this rusted piece of scrap heap. It's a sword, but you'd be hard pressed to say that it is fight worthy, beautiful in any way. It's interesting how it got there for sure. There is a small plaque to the side of it that says the King's Blade. May he rest. We thank him for his sacrifice, for those who followed with him, and for the next king to come. Or queen.
Who's up first?
Kadath will have 2 mugs in his hand. And he'll turn and hold one out for somebody to grab.
Rook will take it.
I guessed as much. So Kadath will mug in left hand, go up and grab the blade with his right hand.
Go ahead and give me a
D10,000.
D10,000, please.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Out of curiosity, what's the number that we need to roll?
I keep that ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like 1 out of 10,000. Chances are it's not going to happen. Doesn't even budge. For 1,345, doesn't even budge. It is strangely sturdy for all the rust. It is. Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
It will turn, shrug, and gesture over at it with his hand.
I'll try it.
All right, D10,000.
Let's see it.
So pleasing.
Bold and you-
Those are 2 pleasing numbers.
Those are pretty good.
7,675. There is this feeling that you get when you touch it. It's going to remind you of floating, but not like on water, somewhere deep. Just pressure, and there is just I would say music that isn't really anything that you've heard before, or you have. You can't remember where it comes from, and the more you listen to it, it's like a memory escaping you. The sword won't move.
As she lets go of the sword, she, for the first time, I think anybody besides Kadath, well, she is not like her normal like stone face. She's wide-eyed and just confused before she like lets go and walks back and just be like, nothing.
Didn't look like nothing.
Kadath gives her the people's eyebrow.
Yeah.
I can't do it, so yeah. I can't raise a singular eyebrow, but Kadath raises
Come
a
on,
singular
no.
eyebrow at Soul. I just No,
She,
can't do it.
she won't respond, but she does look a little freaked out.
He'll stand by her. Like lean into her a little bit, give her a nudge.
I'm fine. She'll like point to the sword and just like anybody else.
Rook, you should go.
I'll let you all go first. It's fine. And
Oh,
by the way,
Rook.
she will hand Kadath back his alcohol undrunk.
You'll hear you'll hear shuffling to the side. There'll be kind of somebody coming from the alleyway to the right of the whole square. As we relax here a bit, we're going to notice the dancing lights seem to be kind of moving around the square, and there's going to be one that kind of floats from this person more so into the main square. Let me go ahead and see if I can get you guys a view of them if you're interested. If not, she's going to kind of pull out a book and inscribe notes.
Upon hearing the
Watching the
movement,
group.
at first, Kadath's hand probably would have dropped to the dagger at his side, and he would have looked around. Let's see what we got to look at.
While that's happening, Aria's gonna go try to pull the sword.
A D10,000, please.
Well said.
1,412. There is this kind of feeling of calmness. As if for just a split second, there is nowhere you needed to go. Nothing you needed to do. And you knew that for the first time, you know, if you wanted something, that you yourself had the power to do it. And it's this whelming feeling that comes from the pit of your gut and just kind of radiates outward. But it comes in a wave. Because as you grab that handle and you pull on it, it doesn't move.
That's really cool.
Meta-wise, just real quick, Aelo and Rishi would have kind of stopped through here, so I assume we've done this tourist bit before, right? Is that safe to assume, Aelo?
I was going to assume Aelo had done this before, but many years before. But he'll kind of uncross his arms and say like, "Well, I'm a changed man in many ways than I was so many years ago, so I might as well give it another try. See what happens."
If for nothing else than the fun of it, right?
Exactly. A good story to tell. Even though, well, it was a more interesting story last time, and he grabs a strip of cloth from his person, from his armor, and he wraps it around, and there's some leather in there too. He wraps it around his hand several times, so he's got like a big boxing glove. Unworked iron. Allergies. And he goes to pull the sword.
Sure. D2000.
Oh, I love the nighttime picture.
Oh, that
Wow,
was
we are
crazy.
like
There's-
hitting one of two numbers, basically.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
7,565. it's not really going to do much. You're going to kind of touch the handle, and you're going to kind of grip it slightly, and a little bit of rust will fall off, and it might make you think that it's kind of coming out for a bit, and then you look at your hands, and you get rust all over it. And it hasn't moved, but for like a second, you thought maybe. Seeing as this isn't the first time you've touched it, you probably know that feeling of just there is something about this item, which is probably why it still stands here today, and nobody's taking down or moving it. There's just this really weird embodied feeling that comes from this thing. For each person, it's different, but it gives them a significant feeling of something. Yeah.
I'll unwrap my boxing mitt that I went to grab it with, and I'll shake out all the rust and use Druidcraft to like puff bits away from myself as some drift towards my feet, and they'll light up. The bits of rust will light up like embers and then fade into the platform.
Rishi will do the after you motion to Rook. I've tried
no,
once
please.
before. Rishi will
And
just
I
kind
want
of
to see you try
casually, like one hand go and like
Just touch it.
absentmindedly, just like pull it. Like didn't work the first time, probably won't work this time.
Have you do it already?
Let me make sure that that's the number. Okay, yeah, about the
10,000.
same.
Yeah. We're either in the 1,400 range or the 7,600 range. That's it.
Yeah.
So 7,407. So you get this disembodied feeling. It is warming, but it's almost like you're floating above yourself. There is this disconnection almost from the mortal plane for a bit. And you feel calm. It's going to last for a short bit, about 30 seconds or so. It's better than most massages or any kind of like spa day you've ever had. And then all at once, everything's going to kind of come back. And it's that letdown of almost this really nice, relaxed high, really. It's just coming back to everything.
As I said, tried it before, and I don't think you guys would have not noticed if I was High King. And then Rishi will take a step back and once again do the after you motion to Rook.
There's going to be a moment, though, where the stone, after having that moment, is going to kind of crack to the right side.
Please tell me that happens while Rishi is saying, like, I'm pretty sure you would have noticed.
And Rishi will do what I just did, the like hands up, like, whoa, didn't do it, not me motion.
Well, maybe
Don't
it'll
think
make
that
it
happened.
easier for me.
Say, loosened it up for you.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to investigate the creek?
Yes.
It's up to you guys. I mean,
I want to
throw
investigate the
offering.
crack. I always want to investigate the crack.
The only crack will be investigated.
So,
We want
14.
investigation?
Investigation will work. Perception's also good too. Whatever you guys want to use. Like I said, each one of them are going to give you different kind of views.
Oh, I'm gonna do perception instead, so ignore my 10 investigation.
Investigation.
Oh, so we both did the negative stat roll.
Yeah.
Boom.
So the boulders.
I'll do something a bit different.
I just don't think Aria would, like, go up to it and go, like, look at it.
Yeah. All right, so we got investigation of 14 for Alex, 10
11
investigation
perception.
for Aria, 11 perception. Max 5 investigation, and Chris got a 9 Arcana. So let's go over this, because I'm sure at this point you guys are gonna see dust. You'll get like that crack kind of forming, and this boulder is relatively large. So even with the sword at top, you're gonna have a small crack to the right side of it, nowhere near the blade. So through a quick investigation, like kind of running your fingers along the crack, there is something just underneath of it, and as you kind of run those fingers, more of that rock comes off, and there's going to be this pommel of something. Actually, in the blade, or not in the blade, in the stone. Perception is going to clearly tell you that it's releasing something, but not the High King's blade. And Arcana will tell you that in the history of this entire thing, the High King's blade isn't the only thing out of this boulder that is of note. Other things have come from it. People have found hidden compartments, or it's released things. Magic has happened. It's gone off. It's given more than one gift throughout its many years of being here, since nearly the dawn of anyone can remember.
Since Rook was the one who was running her hand over the rock to find that pommel, can she try and take it out before she goes to the sword?
You can definitely try.
Okay. What do I gotta roll?
Give me an athletics.
Okay. Something I'm good at.
Pause before you click.
Pausing.
Seeing Rook reach in there, Aelo taking control of your character, Rishi will kind of lean over the railing. Be careful. I suppose these things tend to be dangerous. And as he says dangerous, you can kind of feel like a ringing in your head as your brain starts to vibrate, and you can take inspiration.
Oh, noted. She kind of backs up, looking vaguely uncomfortable, but she will roll nonetheless. Okay, and can I use my inspiration on that?
It's a skill check, so you can.
What is the?
Oh,
sorry,
what
what's
is
the
what
die?
is a
D6.
6? Yeah, I was
It's a
about to be like,
D6. It's a D6
oh,
until level 5.
So dirty 20 total.
It won't budge.
Wow.
In fact, you'll get a nasty little zap from it.
Does it do damage?
Maybe.
No, kind of like a static shock.
No. Okay, somebody else try this fucking sword. I'm gonna do the big one.
Rishi will hop down. I don't know if we had to take steps down, or if she had to take steps down.
Hop over the
just to
thing, take
side.
steps.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Kadath will
I'm-
walk to it with him.
I think since I broke it, maybe I should buy it. I don't, whatever this metaphor is. Rishi's just going to kind of try to very quickly pull it out.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me an athletics.
Oh yeah, with that -1 strength. Come on, character sheet, just pull
You've got this. It's okay.
up. Athletics. Yeah,
5.
5.
You're gonna have a plus 20 to that.
Oh. Well,
Because with a 25, the rock around it is going to crumble more. Rock that was sturdy that Rook touched will kind of crumble, and eventually your hand will kind of reach around that little circular pommel, and you'll pull, and out's going to come this short sword, and it's not spectacular. Let's put it that way. It is a white padded wrapped handle. It has an old kind of King Arthurian kind of hilt, the guard to it. But the blade itself is worn, old, kind of chipped in certain places. as far as it goes, it has a -1 to it when using it. But there is this weird feeling that it feels right in the hand.
Okay.
Clap on the back. Looks like you got yourself a little gift there, Rishi.
I'm the High Prince or something, and Rishi will start kind of doing, I don't know what the non-karate form of a kata is, but we'll start doing that.
So as you kind of shift and move it, the blade is going to kind of resonate. Have you ever seen something like vibrate? If you've ever like shaved something in like strobe, how you watch it like
Yeah.
it does that effect.
Is it a
Ooh.
-1 just to hit, or a minus?
-1 all around. -1 to
Okay.
damage, -1 to hit.
Alright. Cool. Putting that in my character sheet. But it
Well,
feels good in the hand, despite the -1.
Correct.
I have it on my character sheet as
You
fancy sword.
will receive a +2 to perception while holding it.
Ooh. Okay. Awesome.
Things just seem crisper.
After watching Rishi have his moment with his new toy, Rook will step up to the High King's sword and attempt to pull it, and probably not believe that it's gonna work, but give it a shot anyway.
Even harder the cards.
1d 10,000, please.
Alright, 1 or 7. 1,000 or 7,000. Whoa, different.
That's a new number.
9,514.
That's a new number.
Pretty close to the 10,000 markish. So it's definitely not going to budge. You'll get kind of pushed back from the handle. There's going to be this this magical force that's going to kind of like push outward from the blade's handle, which is going to make your fingers release from it. You're going to get this feeling that there is something up north that is beckoning you. It's in the back of your head. It's miles away, though. Something's pinged on your radar, and it's not going to disappear. It's almost like there is this pull, this gravity to it. But it's not here.
North generally, not north specific. Like, is there a specific direction besides north? Like, can I think of a city?
Just north.
Okay.
It is very generalistic. It is a gut feeling more so than it is some sort of effect or anything like that.
Yeah, a gut feeling of that way.
Yeah.
Rook will pause, kind of cock their head a little bit, and then step back and put on a fake smile for the group and just say, I prefer the flail anyway.
Don't worry, Rook. It has a different effect for everybody. And
Can't all be winners.
Shut your airy little mouth.
I didn't feel anything.
I think I've had enough excitement for one day, and I think I'm gonna retire to the room.
The lady inscribing from earlier will kind of curve her on the side a bit, trying to gather notes, maybe sketching something in the book, but she's going to be like kind of like looking at Rishi and the item.
Looks like you caught someone's attention.
I always do.
I feel it's
Still, they're
important
just
for the
playing with this
listener-
toy.
Yeah, I feel it's important for the listeners, for when this goes to podcast form, to know that Jace is just making swinging motions with the sword in the camera.
I'm having a good time.
I was going to actually start walking forward towards this lady, like looking down at her, but with like a really sweet smile. And as he gets within like 5 paces or so, he's going to hold out a giant hand, and with one finger curled into the palm of his hand, he's going to hold out for a handshake. He's going to say, "A researcher, perhaps, fellow academic, Dr. Aelo K."
She'll put her charcoal kind of pen in her other hand while she kind of caresses it with her arm. She'll shake your hand. Hi. I'm just a scribe, Zina. I am kind of hired to stay here and record what comes from the stone, any interactions, and report back to Graydon. It's been kind of going on for a couple of years. It was put in place by an old king. Not the sword, but the scribe.
Well, I hope we made your day a little bit more interesting, isn't it?
Yes. I haven't seen anything really pulled from that in 30 years.
Who was the last?
30 years ago, someone pulled an orb from the left side.
Must have been a good orb.
Must have. Typically, people who come to try their hands here just kind of go their own way. I don't see many returning, besides the ones who, kind of see it as a just an attraction, really.
That makes sense. Well, I suppose it is a remarkable day when anything is pulled from the sword, then.
Yes. I would say it's the first time in a very long time a weapon's been pulled, so stay cautious. I don't think anything from the stone is cursed, but there are many magical items that do have downsides.
We'll be sure to take your advice under advisement. Well, it is getting late. We happen to leave a pitcher half full in the inn. If you think that your shift is done for the day, you're welcome to what's left.
Oh no, I'm here for the rest of the night.
Very well.
Kadath will leave his second mug.
Well, it was nice to meet another academic on the road, but I think I am going to retire as well. And he's going to motion towards Sol, who is heading back towards the inn.
Okay.
Rishi, perhaps we can study that sword in more detail in our room.
Sure. Don't know that there's much room for sword work, but there's always room for sword play. And Rishi will sheath it and walk with a separate sheath that he has.
As you sheath it, you'll hear a very discerning sound from your other short sword. From basically blade to hilt, right where the blade meets the hilt. the hilt will snap off and fall to the ground.
Well, thank goodness
new
I've got
blade?
2. I mean, I've got 2 anyway, but that's fine. This thing looked better, I think. So, scrap in, or I could drop it off at a local blacksmith, because I don't think it's worth repairing, but they can, and they can maybe make a little bit of money.
Is there a lake in this town? Anything like that?
I mean, there's a small pond to the north. I wouldn't call it a lake.
I think Kadath will make his way over to the pond.
Okay.
Find a tree by it and sit out underneath of it. What kind of a night is it outside?
So there are kind of relaxing sounds. You got a few carts in the background every so often. Definitely get cows. There are just kind of people moving to and from. And the sky is going to be, I wouldn't say cloudy, kind of open, twinkling stars, and the 3 moons.
Yeah. It's gonna lean back against a tree by the pond, just sit and look over it. I think this might be where he spends his night.
Is everybody else heading back to the Swords Sheath Inn?
I think that Aria's at least gonna check on Kadath first, and then she'll come back later to the inn.
Okay.
So she'll probably spend like an hour or 2 sitting out there with him, try to teach him to read a little bit more.
All right, let's do
See
it.
if we can get another good roll.
Let's do it. Intelligence check. Not very good.
11. So, I mean, decent grasp on the beginning stuff. How to articulate, how to basically sound things out for the most part. But there's going to come a time where during your teachings, there's a very eerie and strange feeling. There was that weird kind of relaxation, that warmth, that kind of chill, and that's gonna go away for a bit. Out in the center of that pond, there's going to be this orb, and it is going to be, I'm going to say, it's a mixture of like a blue with like black kind of swirling about it. It's not shedding light or anything. It's this form, and it hits down into the water, and the moment it touches it, it's just going to freeze all the way up to the edge of the pond. Absolutely rock solid. And then it'll disappear.
Will the ice disappear?
No.
The ice just disappears.
How thick
Yeah.
would you say the ice is?
About as deep as the pond is. It's frozen solid.
Yeah,
all of the water.
I ain't blasting through that.
No. Even if you did try blasting into it, right, you'll still find that it's not like your average kind of freeze over. Normally in the winter, you've got that thin layer, you break through, there's a lot of water underneath. There is not a single sheet of, there's nothing. All of it's frozen. All the way down to the rock bed.
Aria's like a deer in headlights looking at where the orb touched the water.
I should go check it out, see if there's anything strange there.
I don't think you should. I think that we should go back to the inn. I think that this should just be another story.
B spot run. So Kadath will get up and kind of like, usher Aria past him a little bit, looking over his shoulder at the pond as they start walking back towards the inn. How does he feel about it?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Like, is there anything different to him, patron-wise? Something like that?
No, not patron-wise. But as you're kind of walking back and you're noticing this, you're going to see that the pond water is cracking. And shards of the ice are starting to float anywhere between a few centimeters to about 6 feet over the pond. And it's taking like a solid 2-3 inches off the top. If you've ever seen the spell Cloud of Daggers, very beautiful in a way. But they're not daggers, they're just shards of ice.
So,
Yeah, which can be just as dangerous as that.
Kata seeing that is going to hold his hand out and whisper some arcane invocations, and he will cover himself in an icy sheet as he casts Armor of Agathis. And as they're walking, he will place himself between Aria and the pond as best as he can.
Aria's gonna pass heart to heart and just say, we're gonna be fine. As long as we're together, we're going to be okay. As she's like staring at that.
Just go. Let's go. Get out of here.
And we're both continuing to walk back towards the end.
All right. Are you watching this at all, or just
Edit
heading?
this.
Yeah, I think we're both looking over our shoulders watching it, but continuing to walk to town.
The orb from before is going to shift into a form. It is going to kind of reappear in the center of the lake, and you're going to see more kind of crack. And it's going to have dozens of pieces of shard. And it's going to kind of walk from the pond with these shards following it to the center, right near the sword. It's not going to touch the sword, but it's going to scream very loudly, very angrily, in a wail that can only be a mixture of both pain and anger. And as it does, each one of those shards are going to shoot out towards the buildings in a complete encompassing, 360 around it, centered from the form itself. It will break windows. It will shatter stone in some places. It will fling frozen dead fish up against barrels and bricks, and the entire square will be kind of just broken. And that form will disappear.
Is any going to hit us?
I think they're going to bounce off your armor.
Okay, because I was going to say, if they start shooting out, he would, kind of square up as best as he can to protect Aria from it.
Yeah, and I don't think you're necessarily, right around it. So it's cold damage, I believe. It deals cold damage, and it gives you 5 temporary HP for the duration. So no matter what it does, it's not going to affect you, but it does some devastation
To the buildings.
Yeah, the shard will hit Kadath at the back. Hold on a second.
We'll have a good alarm.
The shard will hit Kadath in the back, and he'll close his eyes a bit, and Aria will see the ice around him crack and slough off his body. And then he'll just shake his head and say, "Should we go check on that nice girl who was standing by the sword.
Yeah, what if she's still around?
She said she was staying all night.
We should go find her, make sure that she's okay. Do either of us have message or like any way to communicate with the party?
Not unless they're within 30 feet of us.
Sorry guys, looks like you're getting left out.
I mean, I assume we can hear the scream and the noise of the explosion. Yes.
Oh yeah.
In the
Oh,
there you
shadow
go.
Hears it.
windows.
Yeah, Rishi will have to put his shoes on, but we'll be back. Be out there as soon as boots are laced up.
The first thing that Aelo will do will check Rook's room, because that's where Aria normally rooms. And he'll knock on the door. And
Rook
say,
will Rook will open the door before you can speak, and just say, "What the fuck was that?" Holding her flail.
Aria's not in there, is she?
No, it's just me. She went to go visit Kadath or something.
Rishi? Sol? He'll knock on Sol in Kadath's room.
Soul's door, after the scream, Soul's door had been already open and she'd been running out.
Kadath will look to Aria. Stay behind me.
Yep, I'm cool with that. As long as I'm still up, then you're still alive, so that's fine by me. I will be right here.
He will re-up his armor. Use his last spell slot to re-up his armor.
Okay.
We're gonna
And-
go search for the
Yeah.
girl.
We're gonna go make our way to try to find the girl.
Investigation.
All right. Do you want to help me, or do you want me to help you?
Do
Kadath is not the brightest.
you have proficiency in investigation?
Nope, I have proficiency in perception, though.
Then you could give me advantage. Well, no, Corey, you specifically want investigation to go look.
Investigation, perception, either are fine. I think there's both deal with like searches.
Alright,
So
then-
investigation's more like a hands-on kind of thing, moving barrels and broken pieces and stuff like that. Perception is just generally what you can see laying around.
Okay. We could both roll investigation, look around, but neither of us have.
I'll do a perception to look around, and then if we need to, we can hone in a little bit more.
Okay.
A 12.
12. So, you're gonna come around the way. That form is going to kind of reappear.
No.
And she is going to point to you. For as long as they stand, destruction shall follow.
As long as who stand? Does she?
Can Kadath reach out to this form's mind? Can he feel anything connect if he tries to?
You're gonna feel a wave of like psychic just wall there. It does not want you to connect. It will not let you. And whatever it is strong enough to stop you.
Does
Okay.
she respond to my question? For as long as who stands?
Those you believe to be heroes will last long enough to become the villains. Mark my word. And it'll disappear.
It's just
With a
cute.
12. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You go. Ari's just confused.
As you're kind of reeling from that psychic
Yeah.
push,
Kadath kind of
Um,
almost down to a knee with that. Like, that
you're
hurt him.
gonna you're going to kind of touch the ground, and as you pull your hand back, you're going to see blood.
Ah.
Not yours. But if you look over to the right, kind of pushed up against the wall, several shards of ice kind of skewering them, is the female from earlier.
Is she alive? She just dead.
She is deceased. Impaled.
Alright, Aria's gonna scream and take a few steps back. There you go. What is he?
I want to say that Aelo at least will be there, but since everybody else was all together, I imagine if we could agree that at least by the time that the figure disappears, we're all in the square together.
Yeah.
Sure. Just before, I would assume Aria screams.
Kadath at that point, when the thing yelled at them, he put an arm out behind him to cover as much space as he can. And
She
then
didn't yell. After the scream, she just kind of pointed and spoke.
Oh yeah, the point. Yeah, it was the point that he found threatening. That's why he would have, made himself big enough to block little Aria from view, because she is a small one. And then basically down to one knee as he reaches out telepathically, and then the sight of blood, and then the scream, and then the rest of the group's here.
Do we see the figure, or did it disappear?
It's gone.
We were there for the tail end of its prophecy.
At least for the part where she's pointing at Kadath and Aria.
Mm-hmm.
Says,
Here's the perfect time. Kind of take a break from this moment. And take a break completely. Let's grab some water. Grab bathroom breaks. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. And we can pick this scene up right where we left off. Give us some time to think what we want to do next and everything like that. For those of you who are here, thank you guys for following. Let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to...
thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Let's shout out the followers. Let's also give a nice shout out to Sirenscape, who makes this beautiful spooky music that I think we're using. Shout out to Cobalt Press, who, not yet, but we do use their monsters. And a shout out to anyone else, Corey?
Solo Matronic.
There we go.
So just followed. Yay, thank you.
No, they followed a while ago. I'm just having it replay some of the follows so that we can thank them.
Ah.
Yeah.
This live, this I cannot pronounce
Dissolve?
that. Dissolve.
I'd like to dissolve.
And
Oh, I know who that is. That's one of my other DMs.
let's see if I can get it to do it. And Bubbly Noodle. Thank you guys
Thank you
for
for following.
We'll be right back. We'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the break, and we'll be around soon.
Play trivia with us.
Yeah.
Please.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry about that. Just needed a quick break. We needed to get something to drink, grab some bathroom breaks, that kind of stuff. So, when we last left off, we were dealing with some absolute crazy stuff in town. And we have, unfortunately, a corpse on our hand. Maybe a mystery.
Actually, don't think Kadath would be able to say anything right now. His head got fucked up. And he's probably just down on a knee in front of Aria.
So, a scary scream and a body. Can you connect those dots for us, please?
I don't know what happened. I can't explain it.
we were sitting at the lake, and then there was this orb. It touched the water, and the entire lake froze. Like, not just the top of it, the entire lake froze. Like, there was no water left. So we thought that was weird, so we started getting up when this figure appeared on the ice. And then the ice started breaking up and floating around her. And we really decided we had to leave, so we started walking away. And she started walking out of the lake towards the sword. The shards of ice followed her until she got to the sword and screamed, and then all of that ice just shot outwards and absolutely destroyed everything. We came back over here to look to find her, and Aria won't even look at the body at this point. Like, she's looking at the floor. And
Can I make a Arcana roll? Now that my after Aria's explanation, I feel like my brain would have settled down a little bit. Can I make an Arcana roll to see if any of that makes sense and anything I can figure out?
Sure. Magic-wise, with 14 of Arcana, the spell that was cast is clearly a Cloud of Daggers with an alteration to it. Probably casted at a higher level, say 7, 8, maybe. And then, I mean, everything else though, it's hard to tell what that figure was. It's not a spell that you know of. I don't think it's anything that you've ran into before.
I don't think this would require any sort of check, but can I observe whether or not the ice that is piercing Isna's body is starting to melt, or if any of the ice has started to melt that was shot around the town square?
Sure. The ice is definitely melting.
Okay.
The pond itself has kind of started to reconstitute itself into liquid, because the temperature, I mean, you're dealing with like late summer, so it's pretty much melting fairly quick, and the ground itself underneath of it is fairly warm from the early morning, so that's gonna unthaw pretty quickly. The issue is that as it unthaws, all the fish that were in it are gonna be dead. They'll float to the top.
Is Soul out here?
Yeah.
So Kadath looks at the ice, looks at himself, and then looks to Soul, and in her head, she'll hear, "Hurt me with a spell, please. They'll blame me if they see me like this.
Say that again.
Hit me with a spell or something and hurt me, because if they see me like this, they'll blame me."
Okay. And she will, like, sacred flame to at him to burn away the ice.
He will
wait,
not.
why does that make it? Don't hurt him just to make him look like he will be fine. They won't blame him. Besides, isn't it suspicious to be covered in fire, like to be burnt when the attack was clearly with the ice?
All of this is suspicious. We're the first people to find the body. Of course we're going to be under suspicion.
Don't take kindly to me. They'll find any reason they can.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They'll find any reason they can to blame me. Soul knows this.
There is going to be another scream just down the way, around an alleyway, and then a shattering. Wait, hey, hold on. That's not nearly as loud as I thought. Yeah. 1 second, because that wasn't nearly as loud as I was hoping.
Crank up the volume.
It's admittedly loud, but yeah.
There we go.
Should we check that out?
Rook's just going.
No, I'm gonna grab Kadath.
He looks panicked.
Yeah.
He's normally pretty even faced, but he looks panicked.
Come on. We need to see what this is about. She'll holding on to Kadath will follow Rook.
Yeah, Aelo's following as well. We need to make sure that no one else is suffering the aftermath of the explosion. I'm going to grab the Isna's notebook, though, with the intent in filling out the details and sending it to Graydon.
Aria, Kadath, while we're moving, you said that there was this figure. Was this figure substantial, corporeal, or were they an absence, a lack of?
Corey, remind me if I'm wrong, but it was like a figure of the orb with ice surrounding it, basically, kind of like an ethereal figure.
So it started as a black and blue kind of energy orb, which then took form. And I want you to think of like the crystal blue water mixed with like black wispy smoke, and that's constantly kind of flowing and moving from the form.
Sorry, it's just I don't know. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Okay. The professor would, I think, is probably the one with the most expertise, but I don't know if this description would be. Sometimes I know the right questions to ask to get his mind going.
This isn't like anything I've seen before, and I've seen a lot of things in the water.
The water
Following
is not
that-
where I excel.
I'm sure after a bit of conversation, because we're talking, we're moving, you guys will kind of turn around the corner, and along the side of this kind of mill, they use it for like grain and rice and stuff like that. There is a large destruction that has words etched into the side of the building. And it just states, "Your heroes shall fall."
Angry ghost.
Corey, since I'm leading the charge,
Yes.
can I look around and see if there is any further destruction? Because we heard a scream. Like, where that came from, if that is another body, if there's more to come. Can I just get a general sense of the scenario?
It's more like that echoey, that almost that siren scream that you heard earlier, the banshee scream that caused the shattering in the main square, that kind of scream that happened down this hallway. One would believe it would probably the same spirit or being or phantom that caused the first one, because it is the same voice.
Okay, so it is that voice. Almost
Yes.
instinctually, I don't want to make a check, but instinctually, Rook will just kind of glance out and try and get a sense beyond her own periphery of vision. Can I use Divine Sense?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna use Divine Sense for the first time, and can I sense... give me a second to pull that up for you, actually.
Undead, fiends,
Okay, Celestial...
Fey, celestial.
Outsiders, basically.
Yeah, outsiders and consecrated or desecrated places, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This presence of strong evil registers like a noxious odor, a powerful ring, and the heavenly music of your ears. As an action, you can use your awareness to detect such forces until the end of your next turn. You know the location of any celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet behind the total cover. There is nothing that pings off that. However, because you're reaching out with something that just feels, so like your senses, like you're closing your eyes, you're feeling your senses, there's going to be a moment where you're going to feel like things are going to pull away from you. And if you look around, everybody's frozen for a second. And if you look around, you'll notice that you're actually like separated from your body, just standing there. But standing behind, I would say, Aelo, there's a feminine character. She is made of wispy smoke and that blue aura. And you'll blink, and then she'll be in your face, like centimeters from your face, and she'll like grab your armor, kind of pulling you in, and just say, and then she'll dissipate, and you'll be back in your body.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
What did she...
Yeah.
Run, basically,
Run.
in a very distorted, very distorted form.
Rook, for the first time since you all have met Rook, will scream, and I think just fall back for a second.
Aria will run over and make sure that she's not hurt.
Rishi will also look over, but while all of that is going on, you said that something was like graffitied or like carved in, like those words. How was that done?
It looks like it was done in a very specific way. It's almost magic.
Okay.
In a certain degree, it caused physical damage to the building. But I wouldn't say the lettering came out of magic. Something used force to kind of etch this into the stone.
Okay. Is there any like trace of it? Like we saw that there was ice in the last scene. Like if I look in like the lettering, does it, like
The lettering
pieces
has
of ice or
blood
anything?
kind of
Oh!
leaking every once in a while. And I will say this, from the one thing that's going to stick out in Rook is it was wispy, it was weird, it was crazy. But the moment that thing was like inches from your face, the one thing that you're going to remember is that the eyes were an aquan blue, white on the outside, bleeding blood from each side of the face, out of tears, almost like tears.
I was just trying to look around, and then all of a sudden everything went frozen, and then it was in my face, and bleeding tears of blood.
What was in your face?
We need to
the
go.
specter thing. We need to get out of here.
We
need to run.
yep,
to
this
leave.
is very much above our pay grade here.
Are we
They
leaving
can keep
town?
the gold. They could keep the gold. This
Kadath, yeah. Kadath will put a hand down to help Rook up.
Rook will take it.
Let's.
Boost her up.
We can. You know what? To be completely honest, we can make camp tomorrow night. Let's put some distance between us and here.
No,
Yes, let's go.
this isn't what we're paid for. We need to get out of here.
You sure do. And Rishi will basically do the like Shaggy / Scooby-Doo runaway. Where you like float in the air for a little bit and then like like
We're heading out of town.
Yeah, we're going.
we are
Yeah.
going.
We're going as fast as our
When a
legs can
ghost-
take us.
When a ghost says get out, you get out. Alright? When a ghost is like run, you're like, cool.
I
Don't
think
worry.
it's
You're
Willie's
not
turn to
dumb
roll a
people
travel
in a horror
place.
movie.
Like, we are genre savvy. Let's get out.
Well, it is up to you guys where you want to go next. Let me zoom into the map here.
Our
get the
quest
list set
is
up for you.
Holly Mead, correct?
Yeah, so we can
Yeah.
technically shave like a day off travel if we like break through the road, but like Jace don't think that's worth it.
Aria will be aggressively pushing for Whitegate. Like, she
Yeah,
wants to
let's-
stop at every single town
Let's
and sleep in an actual bed.
let's move fast so we can get out of this area.
Well, it's Aria's turn to roll a travel die, by the way.
Oh, no.
Actually, it's my turn.
100.
Is it? Did you not roll
Yeah.
last time?
I did not roll.
Oh.
Hey!
And with everything that has happened, and I think we want to get as fast away from this place as possible. I think I would like to roll a d12.
One.
Okay. Let's see.
Stop
It
it.
takes
Stop it.
12 days to get to Holly Mead. So you could probably, with a d12, if you roll really well, you'll cut nearly half the travel completely. You might even make it to Whitegate. Let me judge the distance here to Whitegate. So 142.
It's like 5 days.
Yeah, about
By-
almost
Yeah.
exactly.
About 6 days, roughly, give or take, if you follow the road. So yeah, let's if that's what you like to do, let's go ahead and give that a roll.
One. Let's get ones in chat. Damn
It's
it.
an 11.
Got 2 ones.
Yeah,
That's true.
double snake eyes.
Technically a 1.
So
Prime number.
the first thing is the first day / night on the road. You're gonna make great time, absolute great time.
We're
But
scared.
the next morning, everybody is going to be sluggish. For that entire day, everybody's going to receive a penalty as no sleep was had that night. So an exhaustion. But we're going to be on the road for a few days.
No sleep or no break?
Well, for that night, you guys didn't sleep.
Was
you
it a
left
sleep or a
town.
break? No break, because there's that.
I mean,
Well, you didn't sleep. Therefore, in lies that you had a point of exhaustion that each of you had to deal with for that day. Doesn't matter because you guys are going to be on the road for several days.
Okay.
By the next night, you guys are going to get a full rest. That exhaustion will go away, and you guys will be in good footing. From there on, you guys will head continuing south-ish. You guys will kind of crest this hill about halfway, and you'll see Whitegate. There is a forest kind of to the left as you guys are passing just the main road, and there's this veer off where it says Adventurer Hut for the night on your, I'd say your 4th night. And it's this free place where, you know, they set these kind of like little huts up for adventurers. Adventurers can leave items behind to help other adventurers. A lot of time it's recommended to leave a potion or maybe an extra blanket or something like rations behind in these places for the next adventurer or a traveler to come through. And it's a safe place to stay with a locked door throughout the night rather than camping out in the wilderness. Now, I'll let you guys decide if you want to use that night as things start getting darker, if you want to stay and follow the road. It's up to you.
I stay at the Adventurer's Hut.
Be better than sleeping on the like making our own camp. Less time.
Better than Ghost Town. But truthfully, I am fine
Not better than
either
Ghost Town.
way.
A nice dry hut sounds really good to me.
Sounds good to me. There's often a tradition that adventurers leave behind goods for one another at these kinds of locations. Perhaps there is something that we might find of use here, and if not, we can pass on a favor to someone else who will travel down this road in the future.
Sounds good to me.
Seems like we could all use some good juju.
That would be really nice.
I don't have much to leave. I guess other than this broken sword, but I don't think that's something you just want to leave. I feel like that's kind
Give
of
someone.
rude.
The moment you talk about leaving the sword, you're going to get a pinch from the handle.
Ah,
Not
cursed.
this, the broken one. Ow. No. Yeah, I traveled late.
Kadath will draw a dagger from his boot and leave it on the table.
Will notice, by the way, that Rishi does, I think at this point, even with the broken sword, 5 weapons. Or 6, technically.
So-
Aria also set down some pre-made torches.
The building itself, let me give you a bit of a description. Think of it like a hobbit's home, right? It's half built into this kind of hill section. It's got a front face with a round door and 2 windows off the side. And as soon as you walk in, you walk into this meeting/living area. Of course, it's got that large table that you guys just set your stuff at. Several seats on each side, and there are 2 doors to the left and to the right. If you were to think about the layout, right? Because one of the doors is cracked open, there's a few beds to the right door, and then to the left door there seems to be like a stove of some kind that you can just kind of see through the cracked door.
I was going to look so confused at this door. This is horrible architectural design.
Better
I
than nothing.
could use more windows. A little bit more of a open floor plan, but it's
Safe.
Well, not really. The design of the door dictates that there can only be one load-bearing hinge, and that load-bearing hinge cannot be placed at the most load-bearing position, so the door can easily be kicked in.
are you a professor or an architect?
It will do for now. For now, we need to rest.
Kadath will, when everybody's got inside and, we've all started settling down and resting, Kadath will approach Aria, and in her mind, she will hear,
I'm sorry that happened to you while you were teaching me to read. It's never fun to see someone like that.
I'm just gonna shake her head and say it's okay. It's not that different, I guess, seeing a deceased human from seeing a deceased animal. It's just putting it in the right place in your mind.
Yeah, it is. That's what it's all about. I'll keep watch tonight. You can all sleep and rest.
I will argue with that.
I'm going to take out a wand from my jacket made of Hollywood. It's made of holly, and I'm going to weave a stack of good berries in one hand, put the wand away, and I'm going to give some good berries to Rishi and Aria and Kadath.
Thank you, Aelo.
Just in case something happens during the night or you discover that you were nicked somewhere that you didn't realize before. Hopefully you weren't, but that explosion was pretty nasty.
Kadath will make sure everybody looks all right, and then make his way outside of the house and sit basically on the wall outside the door. And he'll start, actually, because I picked these up in an earlier episode, he will start practicing scrimshaw on the rabbit bones he picked up, as he will keep watch through the night, because he does not need to sleep.
I'm going to stay up a little bit longer and keep watch with him.
He'll appreciate that, but he won't
So-
say it.
He will
Rook.
walk. Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
She will walk out and on the other side of the door, put her back to the wall.
In her mind, she'll hear, "Are you all right?"
Could be asking you that question.
Something shook you at that stone. I know you well enough.
I saw something. Or more like I felt something.
It seems like everybody did, except for me. What did you feel?
Floating. And not like in the air, but maybe in the deep.
The depths.
Hearing a song that I think I know, but I don't.
Interesting. Maybe you can describe it to Aria and she can play it. I'm not good at music.
You seem to be getting close with her.
She's teaching me a skill that I don't have. What about you? What do you think of all these people? I think they're good people.
Good or not,
Most of them.
they may be good, they may be not, but they're interesting.
That's the reason you kept me along.
I gotta see where that ambition of yours takes you.
Nowhere good. But we've been marching for days. You should probably sleep.
Probably. I'll stay up a little bit longer. Don't want you to get all lonely.
Me. Lonely. You've always been a funny one, Soul.
I have been told.
Let's make sure nothing happens to the others, right?
That's my job.
Meanwhile, Kadath's just carving at the bone. He's trying to make a basically a little representation of what happened. The pond freezing with the orb over it. Could I roll for that, Corey? See how well I do?
Sure.
Or it'd just be a dexterity check?
Do you have proficiency in any of your tools? Or
No,
is there like a tool
Yeah.
thing built?
not yet. I will be picking that up eventually, but right now I would probably just be dexterity because I'm just using a dagger to carve into a bone.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. And I don't have sleight of hand or anything like that, so... Alright, let's see.
15. I mean, it's not horrible. Definitely still learning. Water check. It's... For you, it might be obvious, right? But it's definitely not masterwork. So, definitely some room to grow there, but it looks decent. I don't think it would be sellable.
He doesn't want to sell them.
Yeah.
He's doing it for himself. So, what Aelo brought up earlier stood out to Kadath, the door not being possibly the most sound. Is there any way he could use his skill as being a sailor and some of his ropes to help secure the door to make it more sturdy? He's also got this thing called the belaying pin, which I researched what it was. It helps you tie knots on a boat.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, you can try, right? But I mean, built mostly into a hill, you have to basically see it from the road itself.
Ah, all right.
I mean,
Yeah, that he
it's-
won't bother with it then. If it seems like it's hard to see and there's not really much you could tie it off to from where he's at,
Yeah.
so he'll just keep a good watch while staying up.
while you're watching, right? There's gonna be this off in the distance. There's gonna be this shimmer in the dark. It's gonna be a bronze kind of color, somewhere off in the forest.
So bright enough for me to see color on it, because dark vision doesn't allow you to see color.
So it's bright. So what you're dealing with is, you're out, you're watching. The three moons are out, so you've got a little bit of like
Okay,
the
got good.
yellow from the yellow moon, and it's shining down. And as you're kind of like taking a look at the door, you're turning around, you're moving. You just kind of pass, and that light from the moon just kind of glints off of something for like a second. And as you kind of like bob your head back and forth, you're like, oh, that's something's reflecting something over there.
Is it moving?
No, that's why it continues to work as you kind of like bob your head back and forth.
Is Soul still awake, or is she asleep outside by now?
It depends how late this is, because she probably would only have stayed another hour or two.
So, Dungeon Master?
Yeah, I'd say probably still awake. Probably within like the first hour and a half
All right.
of chilling.
So, you notice the soul is getting sleepy, and in her mind she'll hear, "I'll be right back. I see something glowing."
You ain't going anywhere by yourself.
He'll grin and he'll start walking towards it.
So she'll follow.
Did you guys kind of trek out there a little bit? It's covered in forest. All right. So by the time you reach this item, there's plenty of like grass, dirt, leaves kind of laying over it, because you guys are getting towards the end of Tulpum at this point. It's the 13th of Tulpum, nearly into Noctorum, the fall. The leaves are kind of like turning brown, dying off, changing colors, and kind of shifting the leaves back and forth. There is this kind of long stretch of bronze. I would have to say, size-wise, the length of a broadsword, maybe half the width of a regular shield, and it's just this sheet of material, and it's got this weird, like, purple incandescent about it.
About?
So,
No.
long sword. We're talking long sword.
Oh.
Let me do this for the listeners watching. You see this thing right here, this lovely thing here on my camera. Actually, you know what? Let me. Hi, everybody.
Yeah!
So, bit of an announcement. I'm working on something very special. I got a 3D printer not too long ago, and we're going to take a quick break from the book. I am currently building something from a 3D printer. I am recreating the original form of the High King's Blade. At the end of this season, I will be giving it out to one lucky viewer, and it'll just go to them. Of course, it's not a real sword. So you're not going to be able to like have sword fights with it, but it's a decorative piece. But basically, think about twice this size, Rodeo.
About the size of the longsword I was gifted for a wedding present, eh?
Yeah.
So, length about 4.5, 5 feet. And you said width about half the size of a normal shield, so width about half my width.
4 feet.
Yeah.
Big sword.
Kadath will look at it.
It's not a sword. sword. It's just a piece of material, just metal.
Any markings on it?
Roll investigation for me because it's it's under.
Yeah,
Some,
I'm not
Mind
great
if-
at that, but I'll
You mind if I do as well?
give you advantage to look at it.
I would say roll your own. I have a 0.
I have a -1.
The experts are on the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 and an 18 for investigation. So, first off the bat, both of you are going to know this is definitely magic. It is a piece way older than you could probably even think your ancestors would go back. This dates back to the cracking of the Pangea, which was well before the Calamity. So you're talking like 300 BC or 3000 BC. And what you have here is a large portion of Titan metal from one of the 3 large Titans that kind of broke the Pangea.
How heavy does it appear to be? Like if Kadath gives it like a little nudge.
About 100 pounds.
Kadath can carry that.
It's
It's
funny. Even though we're away from the water, we're still finding salvage.
When would we ever stop? I'll carry it back.
Would you like to roll either history or maybe just I'm trying to think of the best thing to use. I wouldn't do Arcana. Let's do
Survival?
history, insight, maybe.
Alright, I'll give it an insight.
I
Or
can
do you
do
want...
history.
Alright.
So we'll split it up. History 21.
Insight 17.
So let's start with the history real quick, right? This happened during a time where the biggest races were human, elves, dwarves. They didn't like each other, and so they built these giant machines to kind of fight each other because it kind of accumulated to this really awful war. The metal and pieces that they used for these things are still to this day incredibly powerful. It is pretty much used. Any magical items today can still be traced back to some of the metal that came off these titans. It was imbued to the best of ability. They threw thousands, if not millions, of gold at these things, and the metal is so coveted that people spend a fair bit just to get their hands on some of it to make a new sword or armor or shield or something, because the metal itself, with an insight, it is so easy to imbue this with magic that, I mean, you could probably easily get like a 6-7 level spell on this thing, and it would hold it for pretty much the entirety of its existence.
Something big, Soul.
If only the captain could see us now.
That captain wasn't in his soul.
Kadath will grab this chunk of metal. Is it like lodged into the ground, or is it just kind of like laying there?
It's just laying there. I mean, it's been laying there so long that dirt's kind of come up on the side, but like if you put your fingers around it, you kind of lift it up. I mean, it's 100 pounds. It's liftable, but it's definitely like that large sheet of metal that's just oblonged and difficult to deal with.
Yep, Kadath will, flex up, pull that thing up, pick it up kind of like in front of him, and start kind of, when you're carrying something big and wide in front of you, doing the side-to-side step, the waddle almost. Carry that thing back to camp.
Get some sleep, soul.
Yeah. I'll see you in the morning.
Hmm. Good night.
While this has been
Night.
going on, oh, sorry.
I should just say night, and that's the end.
Okay. While this has been going on, Rook has had a 1,000-yard stare this entire time. Like, the entire past several days of travel since using Divine Sense. And after a while, she'll come over and not say anything, but just sit next to Aelo.
So I imagine like the past I guess nearly 14 days, past month. Aelo has been taking singing / acting lessons from Rishi nightly. And Aelo's been more inattentive to these lessons tonight because his focus is on Rook. And he'll kind of signal to Rishi and be like, my face is tired, Rishi. Why don't you head to bed and
Do you have a whetstone?
I do.
May I
Like
borrow
the-
it?
Of course. Are you
Uh,
going to try it on your sword? Your new one?
It's a little nicked, and I figure it could use some sharpening, some care. Yes.
Just be careful with it.
Uh,
Not the stone, the sword.
Rishi will nod, and then kind of go sit on a cot and attempt to sharpen this blade.
Rook,
Yeah?
would you care to tell me what you saw? Sometimes the best way to get rid of a nightmare is to speak it.
It's the worst part, it wasn't a nightmare, was it? It
No,
was...
not technically.
No. Yes. I don't know how it happened entirely, but I was trying to look around and see if I could figure something out about what was happening, and then it was almost like my senses reached out for me. I'm used to being perceptive. That's a thing that you get used to on the streets, but this was different. This was weird. And then I looked behind you, and there she was, and then I blinked and she was in my face, and she just said run, and I did.
The misty figure.
With the bloody eyes, yeah. That one. I've never seen something like that.
I have. Well, I've seen pictures in books. I believe what we encountered was a banshee, which literally means woman of the fairies, but this one seems to be different. The banshees and their keenings, which they call their screams, they're usually just forewarnings, which this creature certainly did a good amount of back in Nottingham. But
yes, but
it did more than that, didn't it?
You didn't see that happen, did you? Did
Not
they?
the explosion.
Did they see what I saw with the Divine Sense, by the way, Corey? It occurs to me to ask.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You didn't see it fly into my face, did you?
No, and from my understanding, banshees often work that way. I don't want to spook you out, but knowledge is power. Banshees usually target in the kindest sense of the word. Someone who is close to someone else who is about to die.
Or
Usually
someone
it's
who has witnessed
family.
death.
Could be. If it was some kind of an echo.
Maybe. I'm not worried about that. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's a good thing, because I was going to ask if you were worried for someone in particular.
No. No, I have no one to worry about but myself. And frankly, I am worried about myself at this point. I don't know what's going on. I don't get visions. I don't dream. I just... One day, I'm a normal fucking person. Weird as I am, admittedly. I'm normal. And then I leave Neveska, and all of a sudden, I'm getting visions, and I'm seeing things that aren't there, and I'm getting spooked by random banshees without anybody else seeing it, and my flail glows, for the love of the lords!
Well, that's one thing.
I don't know what's happening! I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I've dealt with many students who experience the same thing. Now, most of them that experience the same things that you're describing are more of the warlockish kind. And I'm not saying you're a warlock, because it doesn't sound like you've made any kind of pact. Although, admittedly, most warlocks who are starting out in their profession don't even realize they've made a pact. But it's not dissimilar. Can I ask, Rook?
Yeah?
What made you leave Neveska? What was written on your heart when you walked out of that city? Or the forest?
She glances around. Is anybody else actively listening to this conversation?
Is it inside?
Yeah.
Half listening. Rishi is, yeah.
Aria's like half listening as well. She's writing music and reading the book.
Especially since Rook kind of like her voice peaked up at one point, when she said, flail glows. I was like, kind of like, something's going on. Kind of not like eyeballs,
Absolutely not. Neither of us are listening.
Yeah. Rook will sigh. It wasn't that I chose to leave, it was that I had to. I couldn't stand another day there.
You couldn't stand another day. Linguistically, that implies that you made a choice.
Suppose I did.
Linguistically. It might not have been a practical choice. I understand. But, sometimes language can have power.
Sometimes, yes. It's a long story, but in brief, I was on house arrest for a number of years. And I was on such house arrest in that I didn't have a home. I was brought into one that they claimed I belonged to when I didn't. And kept there against my will for a crime that no one's entirely sure I committed, but I wouldn't be surprised. And there came a point where I got sick of it. And I left. Or, more accurately, I escaped. With this. And she'll point at the earring.
Escaped with that. May I take a look? And he'll
try.
He'll if they'll let me, he'll sort of like cradle the earring in his hand. And, can I do a knowledge check? I guess at this point he's suspecting divine power from the divine smite earlier when it flashed. So can I make is divine a check? I don't remember. I've been working with a different system lately. Religion. I'd like to make a religion check on the earring to see if it has some sort of deeper connection with Rook than just something she found. Oh, I think you may be muted, Corey.
Sorry, I wanted to ask Rook here for a second. Is there any general form of this earring? Like,
yeah,
does it already
so
have a shape?
It does match the earring in the art that we have. So essentially, it's a brass heart type of thing, but it's loose in that it almost resembles, like, one half is just an open heart side, and the other half, I might change it a little bit from the art here. I kind of do want it to look a little bit like feathers. But it's very, like, filigree and open to interpretation. It's just kind of a piece that she found that she thought was cool and probably worth something.
So, yeah, go ahead. Let's do a religion check.
Okay.
That's a 19. So this is it is a heart in some way. With one side of the heart is set in a lovely, like, beautiful brass, while the other side is finishing the heart, but in a decorative kind of peacock feather. You would know this as the symbol of Jessica, the goddess of mystery. Nobody really knows what her big shtick is, but she tends to have random followers, and no one can really. So, like, she is powerful. I believe she's one of the minor gods, not one of the outers, but not a major either. She is one of the second biggest mystery in the pantheons, besides the God Eater.
Okay. Actually, that brings to mind a question on my part now. That because Aelo is particularly interested in the God Eater, but this is kind of an offshoot of that. So, his question actually pertains to the Bardic College. I imagine that paladins being of, and I'm not saying outright right now that you're like a paladin. I'm saying in general speech. Paladins are probably more of the churchly type. They deal more with clerics than they do with arcane studies. Would that be correct? Or would it be
a bit here and there? It's a mixture of both. They deal with a lot of faith and just the embodiment of a lot of their deity situations. I know in 5th edition they've kind of gone away with that. They've made them devotions, but in Talalia it's very much like you may have an oath, but that oath still follows or falls under kind of a deity, and that deity kind of presides over the oath that you've made. So you do have an oath, but that power comes from somewhere, not just this ether, this promise that you've made to yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna sort of adjudicate through that religion check that I know this from working with paladins that have maybe multi-classed into something else, like sorcerer is a very common thing, and paladins that have somehow made their way into the Bardic College system, and that I've met a few students of myself with similar abilities as Rook. Thus, I am making my conclusion. Rook. Remember just a moment ago when I said language has power? Sometimes. Oftentimes.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, I'm not asking you to pry into your memory to see if you took an oath of any kind but perhaps implicitly you did when you left and swore never to return to the place that kept you hostage. Not saying any of that. And he'll give her a kind wink.
I don't think I remember that. But noted.
Well,
why are you asking?
Sometimes it is said that the gods will find someone who has made a pledge in their heart and found it within their own domain, a mortal being that has inspired the god to grant them some of their power for a time. I think you might be one of these individuals. Has there been any signs? Mysterious appearings, omens? Something following you around, perhaps? Not menacingly.
Outside of what you've seen, there's a reason I bought the painting. I thought I saw, when I was walking with Kadath, I thought I saw a black cat sitting by it, and then I thought it was a sign, I suppose. But it's never been something I've put particular interest in. It's just I don't know what's happening. I'm trying to figure something out.
Well, a black cat might be commensurate with the goddess Jessica, which also is commensurate with the shape of your earring, especially with the featherish filigree. But I'm not asking you to accept anything on faith. I'm just trying to give you the knowledge with which you might be able to put some of the pieces together yourself. This is very much a you journey.
Yes. Corey, having heard the name Jessica, is that a name I would recognize?
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Okay. So she's within the Pantheon of the Ancients, which is one of the most widely worshipped pantheon within Talalia. Of course, there's other ones, of course. So you've got, your Greek, your Roman. Those still exist. Pretty much any religion in D&D does. But because they were old gods and have just recently started rewaking, the ancient pantheon is the most widely worshipped. Jessica, from your history, is the goddess of mystery, which I went into earlier, so just take that too.
Yeah.
And
Okay. She kind of is taken aback and says, "Goddess of mystery? Interested in me?"
Wouldn't surprise me. And he'll put kind of like a big hand over top of her slightly less big hands. And fair enough.
Fair enough.
And he'll say, the most important thing to remember is that even though this is a you journey, like I said, you're not alone. And I hope it has nothing to do with the Banshee. But I hope someday that we can call each other family.
It'll be a while.
And whatever it is that you're running from, you have us to pace beside you.
Yeah. She'll smile. And without a word, she'll just hug Aelo.
And then he'll whisper so Rishi and Aria can't hear. It's not particularly delicate, but it's more of an intimate thing. He'll whisper, and perhaps you'll find that it's not something that you're running from anymore, but something that you're running to. And he'll give her a pat on the back.
And Rook will go to bed.
Rishi, let's take a look at that sword. And then that's just a send off. I don't know if you want to do anything with that, but like
okay.
Coming close to an end too, so keep saying
2 scenes then.
Shorts. Sure.
I want to do a scene with Rishi and the sword, you guys, and then one last scene with Rook, and then we'll end for the night. So, you've spent some time sharpening this blade, and no matter how much you take that whetstone across it, it will not sharpen. But what is going to happen is that as you're sharpening it, you're going to kind of look over. You got all your weapons. Are they all out, or are they just the one you're working on?
Just that one that I'm with. I haven't really had a need to sharpen this.
You'll hear kind of a metal crack while you're sharpening it. Not from the blade itself, but something else on your person.
I will kind of take a quick break and see what else I had that would have come.
So you'll kind of take inventory. You'll look around, see if you can figure out where that sound came from. And the thing that's going to stick out for you is that your dagger has dulled, and the blade itself isn't broken, but has cracked. The sword, kind of like once you take a look at the dagger and sit it down, the sword itself is going to have changed. The wrappings won't be as grody. The blade itself will be sharper, better condition. The blade is no longer a -1. It is a standard short sword. Your perception will stay as a +2. But it is definitely doing something. And I think it's easy to kind of pull together between the last sword, the pinch, the dagger. Something strange about this blade.
Just kind of look, we need to kind of just make sure I'm start weapons at this point. I'd like to this going.
The time is 2 p.m.
Hope
you're having a good day. Want to go for a walk?
Oh, got him.
Sorry, just ignore that.
Horatio just kind of shrug, look at the dagger, kind of swap out the one that's in his boot, the broken one in his, and the one that's nicer, kind of in his hip sheath.
Okay.
Just kind of still look. You said it's the hilt got nicer, but the blade is still chipped and stuff, or the blade is fine.
No. So your dagger took damage, right?
Yeah.
The short sword that you've been dealing with, the blade is sharper. The hilt seems more taken care of, wrapped better, as if it's repairing itself.
Okay. Like I said, just kind of shrug, look at it once it's nice and sharpened. Yeah, just slowly put that back in. Just shrug. Set it beside the bed, away from his pack and other things that take off at the end of the night. And boots. Again, boots are off. Y'all get to deal with stinky Rishi feet. And then just kind of take a nap. It's a workout to sharpen a sword, I assume. I've never done it.
Well, especially that sword, because it was very weird. The sword itself didn't sharpen until the last minute. So you didn't even see a gradual change into it. It was almost like it was effort. It wasn't worth the effort until eventually it just was. So as everybody lays down, most of us, those who do need to sleep, I want to take a quick step into dreamland, because we're gonna have one last scene with Rook. Let me set the mood, and I know I'm gonna upset 2 or 3 people here. Let me get the right music here.
Oh, I know what it is.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
You're gonna start out in your dream. There is this just black void. You're just standing there, and you see this feather, a large, long peacock feather made of bronze, or colored of bronze. It's just gonna float right by you, as if kind of leading you forward, beckoning you.
You will follow.
You'll kind of continue through the void, and eventually, as you work your way through, there's going to be this open field of just kind of wheat, really. It's about hip deep, and you see it flowing in the wind. There are trees off in the distance, just devoid of plant life or leaves on them, and you'll just kind of stand there because the feather's going to be gone for a minute, and it's just calming and nice. And then there's this racing in your heart, and things will start turning sour. The wheat's going to die off. It's going to turn black. It will shrivel. The ground that it's growing in will crack and dry out. A tree in the distance will fall and rot in front of you. You'll hear in a whisper, it's draining. And one day it will all be gone. The feather will appear again, as if beckoning you farther.
Rook will
You'll-
follow the feather, yeah.
All right. You'll continue onward. You'll see moments of different places. The drying of wells. Famine in homes. You'll see people with boils and sickness. People trying to cast magic and finding nothing come forth. It's leaving this world.
What? What is leaving? What is draining? What is happening?
By the time this is all over, you'll finally catch up to the feather. It'll land in your hand. And it'll turn into your earring. And it will just kind of one last wispy, very, very wispy word as the earring will crumble and kind of fly from your hand to dust. Magic. And that is a good place to end it for the day.
Oh my god! Okay. What an introduction.
So thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. We enjoyed having you. One more hour. We'll see.
Not unless y'all want to watch me sleep.
Same.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna say, me and Dust, I saw you sitting down, man. I was like, don't get too comfortable. Like,
Yeah, I've been moving so I don't like fall asleep.
oh my god.
Well,
All right.
thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll continue this next game. Thank you, Sirenscape, for the music. It really helps set the theme. It really helps set everything. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for donating. Thank you guys for following. If you haven't, please follow. It really helps. The more people who do, the more people see us on Twitch page, FYE, Podbean, wherever you're listening currently. We will see you next week. And remember, keep your opportunities open.